On the evening of Saturday, September 6, 2025, the small city of Reedley, California, found itself shaken by an unthinkable tragedy. It was just after 8 p.m. when dispatchers began receiving emergency calls of gunfire in a quiet residential neighborhood near Parlia and Frankwood Avenues. When deputies arrived on scene, they discovered that a woman, 43-year-old Yesenia Rocha, had been shot multiple times. Despite life-saving efforts, she did not survive. Authorities quickly identified her husband, Michael Rocha, as the suspected shooter. What makes this case even more heartbreaking is that, according to investigators, family members, including the couple's children, were present when the violence unfolded. Witnessing such trauma firsthand is something no child should ever have to endure, and officials have described the scene as deeply tragic. The Rocha family was not unknown in Reedley. Neighbors said they had lived in the area for many years. The couple had been married for more than 2 decades, about 25 years in total, and together they shared 2 adult children. According to court records, however, the relationship had recently changed. Just 1 month before the shooting, in August of 2025, the couple had legally separated. Authorities have not confirmed whether there were any previous reports of domestic disturbances at the Rocha household. At this point, no record of prior calls to the home has been publicly released. It remains unclear whether there were earlier warning signs or opportunities for intervention. What is known, however, is that separation and divorce are often among the most dangerous times in abusive relationships. Domestic violence experts frequently warn that leaving can escalate risks, sometimes with deadly consequences. After the shooting, Michael Rocha fled the scene in a Chevrolet pickup truck, triggering a multi-agency manhunt that stretched across Fresno and Tulare counties. Overnight, deputies and officers searched rural roads and orchards, urging residents to stay alert. His escape left the community on edge, knowing a suspected killer was still at large. By the next morning, Sunday, September 7th, the search came to a head. Sometime between 10 and 11 a.m., deputies in Tulare County spotted Rocha's truck in the Woodlake area. They attempted to pull him over. What happened next would bring the manhunt to a violent end. According to investigators, Rocha refused to surrender. The confrontation escalated near Road 222 and Avenue 340, just outside Woodlake. Officials say Rocha opened fire on deputies. They returned fire, striking him. Rocha was pronounced dead at the scene. No deputies were injured. Whenever there is a deputy-involved shooting, it is standard for an outside agency to take over the investigation. In this case, the Visalia Police Department was assigned to lead the review. Detectives are now piecing together not only the events of that morning, but also the timeline that led up to the shooting of Yesenia Rocha the night before. For those who knew the family, the news was devastating. Neighbors described disbelief, struggling to make sense of how a family they had seen for years could end in such devastation. One resident told reporters that the couple seemed like a normal family, adding to the shock of what had occurred. Domestic violence advocates point out that cases like this are sadly not as rare as people may think. Studies show that in the United States, more than half of female homicide victims are killed by a current or former intimate partner. Advocates also stress that abuse does not always leave visible signs. It can be emotional, financial, or controlling in ways that are hard to detect from the outside. That's why awareness and access to resources are critical. At this time, investigators have not provided further information on what may have triggered the violence in this particular case. Whether there were earlier warning signs or prior calls for help remains unanswered. What is clear is that the lives of the Rocha family and the Reedley community have been forever changed. As this story continues to develop, officials emphasize the importance of seeking help if you or someone you know is in danger. In Fresno County, the Marjorie Mason Center provides confidential support and can be reached at 559-233-4357. Nationwide, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours a day at 1-800-799-SAFE. Our deepest condolences go out to the Rocha family, to their children, and to everyone impacted by this heartbreaking event.